Hi there. Thank you for tuning into my personal injury legal tips show. This is Doug Zanes. I'm an attorney. I have a law firm with offices in both Tucson and Phoenix, Arizona. It's quite honestly one of the biggest personal injury firms in the state of Arizona. And I do this weekly show to just pass on hopefully helpful, valuable information to anybody who chooses to download the show off of iTunes or listen to it off of our website. This is the second part, or the second show, addressing a book that I've written. The book is Winning Your Personal Injury Case, The Ultimate 8-Step Guide to Protect Your Health, Family, and Finances. My book can be found on Amazon.com. There's a Kindle ebook edition that's $2.99, and there's a paperback edition that I think is a little more expensive than that. But the purpose of the book is actually to provide anybody who chooses to read it a lot of basic, helpful information about car accident cases, personal injury cases, how they work, what you need to do if you ever find yourself in a situation where you've been hurt in an accident, and all of those things. And so, it's an easy read. It's about 32, 33 pages. Probably takes less than an hour to read. And I think it has some good, helpful information. It certainly is far from all-encompassing. I mean, in my law firm, we handle thousands of these cases every year, and we've pretty much seen it all. And, it's hard to, a book that covers everything would be much longer than 32 pages, I can tell you. But today I want to talk about what you should do after you've been in a car accident. I mean, once you've been hit, what do you do next? Because I can tell you most of our clients, I think, are very surprised that accidents happen as quickly as they do. It's, boom, the accident's over in a split second. Even if it's a fast, really hard accident, it's over in an instant. And you've got to figure out, what do you do next? And certainly if you're in a significant accident and you're significantly hurt, what you need to do next is call 911. And have the police come out, have the fire department come out, get yourself taken to the emergency room so you can really be taken care of medically. Certainly if you're in that kind of an accident, that's the first thing you do. And everything else is secondary to that, because you've got to make sure that medically you're taken care of, or anybody who's seriously hurt is taken care of. In all the other accidents that happen, that are more minor injuries, where you don't have to be, taken in an ambulance to the hospital right away. What do you do next? And that can vary from place to place. I mean, again, our offices are in Tucson and Phoenix, Arizona. And there's even a difference between Tucson and Phoenix, and that is this. In Tucson, our police department decided a few years ago, as the economy got worse and they had and budgets were tight, they changed their policy, and the police department decided that their officers would not go out to the scene of a car accident unless somebody is seriously hurt. So for the normal, everyday car accidents that happen, if you were to call 911, the first question they would ask you, or the dispatcher would ask you, is anybody hurt? And if your answer is no, they will tell you, okay, look, just exchange information with the other party, and they would tell you that the police weren't going to come out. In Phoenix, the police do come out regularly in Phoenix and the surrounding cities, and the police will come out, they'll prepare a police report and get all the information from everybody and all of those things. But we're going to take it in general terms, and I think it applies to situations where the police come out. So first thing you want to do, if you get into an accident, and it's a normal everyday accident, you don't have to be rushed off to the hospital, is the first thing I like to see my clients do is take pictures of the vehicles that include where they are within the accident scene before they're moved, because those pictures will basically help prove that the accident happened the way that the injured victim, says that the accident happened. When you move vehicles off the road and no pictures are taken, if at some point in the future, the at-fault party decides to change their version of what happened or how it happened, it becomes, kind of your word against theirs without any pictures. And so, in a perfect world, if the accident happens and vehicles are stopped still within the street, you're able to get out and on your smartphone in a relatively short, pretty quickly, take pictures of all the vehicles, and where they came to a stop. Take pictures of the damage to the vehicles, not just yours, but all the other vehicles as well, and then move the vehicles off the road. Get them out of traffic, get them out of the way, so you don't have to worry about getting hit by any other vehicles, and other drivers can continue about their day. But the pictures of the vehicles are very, very important. After that's done, you want to make sure that you get all witness contact information. And this is particularly true if the police come out. I've seen this happen over and over again where police officers will come out. They'll start to talk to everybody who was involved in the accident, get the information from all the drivers, from you, from the other driver. And my client, who actually has been standing at the accident scene talking to a witness, assumes that the police officer is going to get the witness's information, their name, their phone number, their address, find out what they saw, all of that. And they're surprised to find out, 3 or 4 weeks later, when we have the police report, that the police officer never talked to the witness. And because our client never got the witness information, never got their name, never got their phone number, doesn't have a way to contact the witness, they lose that witness. And the only reason they lose that witness is because our client assumed that the police officer would get it. So regardless of whether or not the police come out, if there's a witness who saw the accident, you want to, find out what that witness saw. Ask them, what did they see, and listen to their version of what happened or what they saw. That way you know how what they saw compares to what you believe happened or what you saw as the victim. You want to make sure you get their name, their address, and their phone number, and an email address if at all possible. Don't just get a phone number, because if it turns out that phone gets disconnected, at least if you have the address, you can send them a letter. If you have an email, you can send them an email. So just getting a phone number generally isn't enough, because we see it all the time where somebody has trouble paying their phone bill for the month and their cell phone gets disconnected and we're never able to get a hold of them. So get all the witness information for every witness that you're able to come across who says that they saw the accident. That's the number 2 very important piece. Then you also need to get all the information for the at-fault driver. And you need to get complete information. I can tell you, and I've seen this over and over again, and I hate it every time I see it, which is when I talk to a client or a potential client, and I realize or I learn that they got very little information about the other driver. They have, let's say, a first name and a phone number, and that's it. That's never good. Never, ever, ever good. Because it's almost impossible to get a hold of this person, especially if they're trying to avoid you. You need to get their full name, first and last name. You need to get their phone number. You need to get their address, their full address, zip code, and everything. You need to ask to see their driver's license so you can make sure that the name that they gave you is actually the name of the person on the driver's license, and there's a picture and you can see the picture matches the person that you're talking to. That's very important, and sometimes people are a little standoffish and they don't want to show you your license. But you really have to be insistent, because that's very important, because I do see clients who are lied to. Somebody gives them a fake name, they give them give our clients a fake phone number that's not a valid phone number. They drive away and you'll never see them again. So you'll never be able to make them compensate you. So you need to get their complete information, and you need to see some ID to verify that the information that they're giving you is in fact correct information. Now, if you look at their license and it and you have their driver's license, and it has a different address than the address that they've given you, ask them about it. And also write down the address that's on the driver's license. It's always, again, smartphones are a wonderful thing. You can always take a picture of their driver's license. So you have their photo, the address, the name, the date of birth, everything that's on that license. That's always a good thing to do. I think our clients over the years have mistakenly thought that if they write down the license plate number of the vehicle, that is somehow helpful. And it really isn't. I mean, the license plate number doesn't help us a whole lot. I guess conceivably or technically it's better than nothing, but it really doesn't help us get a claim open, bring forward a claim, and get our clients compensated. You also want to make sure you get all the insurance information for the at-fault driver. The way I've always approached that is this. People should have an insurance card in their vehicle, even if it's an expired one. I could probably go look in my vehicle right now, and I'm sure there would be an insurance card with my insurance information, the name of my insurance company, my policy number, has my name on it. It has the basic description of the vehicle that it insures, so you're able to look at that and say, well, your insurance card says it insures a 98 Ford Thunderbird. That's what you're driving, so the two seem to go together. And insurance cards typically have a VIN number. I mean, you can check that against the vehicle if you want it. But the big thing is the insurance card has the policy number, the name of the insured, so you're able to see, again, is that name the same as the driver? If it's not, you can ask the driver, hey, who is this person on the insurance card? It's not you. Who is this? And it'll give you some insight into whether or not the person that owns the vehicle is different than the driver. I mean, you can just ask the drivers. I mean, okay, you tell me that that's the person that owns the vehicle. Are you a friend of theirs? Is the owner your dad? Is it your sister? And get some clarification, which is always helpful. And you can either take a photo with your smartphone of the insurance card, but my preference has always been to just take the insurance card. I was in an accident a year ago. My wife and I were rear-ended. And I got out and I did all these things. I said to the young lady that hit us, who quite honestly tried to actually drive away. I mean, she didn't want to stop. The only reason she gave up on that idea was because there was too much traffic, and when she saw I was basically chasing her, she pulled over. I asked to see her driver's license. She was very hesitant to let me see her driver's license. But when I said, look, you're not leaving without showing me your driver's license, and if you insist on not showing it to me, then I am going to do what I need to do to get the police out here, even though they don't like to come out to these types of accidents. And I said, but along with that, I'll show you mine. Accident wasn't my fault, but I was happy to show her my driver's license. Here, write down my information too. And she gave me her license. I was able to write down all her information. I was able to make sure she was a driver. I gave her my insurance card. Again, I wasn't at fault for the accident, but I said, look, here's my insurance card, but now you need to give me yours. And she did. And so I had all of her insurance information. So now I'm able to go and make a claim without any problems. I know who the insurance company, at least on the card, is, and all of those things. I've got their phone number, I've got a policy number, I can call them up, I can tell them the name of the person that was driving the vehicle, I can give them the basic information on the vehicle, year, make, and model, and all of those things. So my preference is to get the insurance card. If they say, oh, it's my only card, well, that shouldn't be that big of a deal, because these days with the internet, you can download a brand new card and throw it in your glove box. No problem at all. But at the very least, I'm going to see the card, look at the card, and write down all the information. Name of the insurance company, phone number to call to open up a claim, the policy number, the vehicle that it covers, the name on the insurance card of the insured, all of that stuff. And you can also take a picture of it with your smartphone. Very, very important. And then if you've been injured, even if you feel okay at the accident scene because your adrenaline's pumping and all of those things, but at some point later in the day or the next day you really feel sore and banged up, make sure you seek the medical attention that you need. And you get in to either see your primary care physician, or you go to urgent care, or you go to the emergency room if you need to. Make sure that you get the medical care that you need, because without going to see a doctor, if all you do is try to lay on the couch and rest and you wait for the soreness to go away, it'll be very difficult to get yourself compensated for those injuries. Even if it takes you months to get better, because you won't have any medical documentation, any medical records that document that injury. And so that's why seeking medical care as far as your case goes is very important. But from a practical standpoint, you need to seek medical care because you want to get better. You want to make sure that your injuries aren't significant, number one. Number two, you want to do what you need to do to get better. So, as you at whatever point you realize, you know what, you have been injured, make sure you seek medical care. Those are the main things you need to do immediately after an accident. There aren't a whole bunch of them. It's easy to remember. Again, my book talks about it in, quite honestly, a little more detail than this, I think. But the book's great too, because you can also, like I said, it's a 32-page book. If you get the paperback, you can put it in your glove box. And if you ever find yourself in an accident, you can pull it out and read through and say, okay, now what are the things I need to do? And just kind of follow what the book tells you to do. But it's very important because we see over and over again clients who unfortunately don't get all this information. Everybody drives away from the accident scene, and suddenly they realize when they try to call the at-fault driver to get their insurance information, the person won't return their phone calls. The person won't take their phone calls. Or they realize they don't have a valid phone number, and they don't even know the person's full name. I mean, you've got to have all this information in order to protect yourself. So that's it for my show today. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at dzanes, Z-A-N-E-S, @zaneslaw.com. Thank you for tuning into my weekly show, and have a great week.